In the dark days of distrust following the Watergate scandal, Congress passed the Inspector General Act in 1978. It created independent watchdogs to keep an eye on federal agencies. For decades, that's exactly what they did. Now, there's a whole new generation of distrust, and dozens of inspectors general are complaining that the very agencies they're supposed to police are keeping them from doing their jobs. Full Measure contributor Christine Frizzell has more.
In 2009, while serving as a Peace Corps volunteer in West Africa, Kate Pusey reported a local colleague for allegedly sexually assaulting village girls. Her identity was supposed to be kept confidential, but it wasn't. Soon after, Pusey was found with her throat slit.
How did a competent model volunteer become the victim of murder?
After her death, dozens more workers stepped forward and alleged rampant sexual assaults and cover-ups inside the Peace Corps.
I went to the Capitol to report the rape, but the Peace Corps medical officer did not examine me, perform a rape kit, or collect any evidence.
Peace Corps Inspector General Kathy Buller began investigating the sexual abuse reports, and Congress passed a law named after Pusey to better protect Peace Corps abuse victims and whistleblowers. That's when things took a strange twist.
All I know is that we were prevented from getting access to information that we needed to do the work that we needed to do, and that was to make sure that the agency was complying with the mandates of the Pusey Act and providing victims of sexual assault with the types of services that they should get.
The Peace Corps used the very law named after Pusey to withhold records she needed to investigate.
Under the interpretation of the General Counsel, we couldn't get access to any information on restricted reports involving sexual assaults. We couldn't find out basically that they even existed.
So just to be clear, this act, which was named for this young woman who was found murdered shortly after she reported sexual harassment, this is what's preventing you from getting information?
Yes.
Michael Horowitz is the Inspector General at the Justice Department. He also heads up the council that coordinates the 72 federal IGs.
And yet we're being told we should rely on the people we're looking at to tell us what we should be allowed to see. That can't happen.
Horowitz's office has repeatedly been blocked from getting documents, like in the case of DEA agents accused of having sex parties with prostitutes paid for by drug cartels, and Fast and Furious, where federal agents secretly allowed thousands of weapons to fall into the hands of Mexican drug cartels.
We have no idea what the reasons are for the objections here at this point, and why anybody would object to strong independent oversight by watchdogs that the Congress itself put in place.
Matters were made worse last summer when a Justice Department lawyer issued an opinion that actually claimed Congress never meant for IGs to have access to all records, even though that's literally what the law says. Senator Chuck Grassley is chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
You've got one bureaucrat negating the laws of the United States, and the Inspector General can't do his job.
In August, 68 IGs signed this letter asking Congress to reiterate that their right to access records means all records.
All means all. It's pretty darn simple, isn't it?
Grassley supports a law to make that official, and it has bipartisan support, but it's being blocked from a vote by the Senate's lead Democrat, Harry Reid. Senator Reid declined to comment to us about why he's holding up the legislation.
This is such an egregious attack on the powers of Congress that we can't let one person out of 2 million people in the executive branch of the government get away with.
For her part, Buller says the Peace Corps has become more cooperative since the controversy after the Pusey case, but she worries things could change again at any time.
So that's why it's so important for me to get the legislation passed, so that
because it would spell it out very clearly.
Spell it out very clearly. There would be no question as to whether or not we had access to this information.
In the future, there will be another volunteer like my Kate who will want to do the right thing. Honor Kate's sacrifice by doing the right thing now so that future volunteers can serve safely.
The plea of Lois Pusey did bring about the Kate Pusey Peace Corps Volunteer Protection Act in 2011. But the overarching problem of allowing access by inspectors general to information they need to keep track on federal agencies is still a problem. Now, last week, the Justice Department did move to reestablish access to some watchdog agencies, but some, Scott, means just 6 out of 72.
Very interesting. Thank you, Christine. Well, ahead here on Full Measure, can you spare a little change? The TSA has collected plenty. The question, what to do with it?